Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B-Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. It's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's time for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. It's a wonderful Wednesday here as I put us on gallery view real quick. Be Live, you're looking good. Scottie D, how about them Cowboys? See, I had to pull it back a little bit so I won't be screaming to the mic because I'm known to blow some eardrums out from time to time. Panthers lost. I'll be all right. I'm glad somebody's team won this weekend. I'm just glad.
Me too.
Something had to happen. Fire Matt Rule, start PJ Walker, do something. But anyways, I'm incoherently rambling. I'm running my mouth. You know I can't do this by myself. I have not one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Unlike Tom Brady's marriage, the three of us are here to stay. I had to do it. That's all we're going to talk about it because I just had to bust out the gate with that one because that's breaking news that the show has hired a divorce lawyer because her husband won't stay home, and now he's losing football games on top of that. So what are you really doing, Tom, Edward, Fitzpatrick, all those other names? And because Giselle is probably richer than you, you're going to lose her last name, so go back to Brady. But I said what I said. I'm now incoherently rambling. At this moment of time, could you please introduce the other guy? Bring him into the fold, because this is a marriage, a three-way. Is this some progress? You know what? I'm just going. I'm off the rails today, so I do apologize.
And with that being said, the other guy, because I don't know what the hell he's talking about. The other guy, the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, the assistant athletic director at the Trinity High School. He's happy because his team won. The one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
They say that breaking up is hard to do. Now I know that it's true. Not us. Again, not us. We're thinking along the same lines. Guys, we're not breaking up, so I want to show you guys some love. And I want to tell everybody, we have some of these conversations before we go on the air, and you guys are way smarter than me. You got the technical stuff down on this. You know all the you're smart on the computer and all this stuff. And I'm just a big dummy talking sports with you guys. I just wanted to share with everybody that these guys are very good at what they do when it comes to putting this show together. And I'm lucky to have you guys.
Wait a minute. Hold. Before we time out, did he just say that he is lucky to have us?
I am.
Use it the other way around.
The other way around, like the Scott Donnelly and the Sports Bros podcast.
Listen, I never wanted it to be said that I didn't show any love to my supporting cast. There we go.
We are, for those that are advocates of Stranger Things and Vecna and the Upside Down. This is what we're experiencing right now. The Upside Down, because the Cowboys and Cooper Rush is still undefeated. So we are now getting the best version of Scottie D. So what you're going to get is the worst version of your boy B Live because my Panthers suck. And all I can wait for right now is when Dak Prescott gets healthy, because it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic because the first game that Dak Prescott loses is going to be pandemonium. But Eddy, cool. Before we get into that,
I just wanted to make sure I publicly thanked my supporting cast. I mean, I just didn't want that moment to get by.
This will change very, very soon, because at some point in time, Cooper Rush losing a game, it happens. But when Dak Prescott gets healthy, you're gonna get a money man rant, and I guarantee it. Eddie Cool, take us to the top of the order. What we gonna talk about today?
All right, but before I take us to the top of the order, we want to give our thoughts and prayers to those affected by Hurricane Ian in the Carolinas, Florida, in the Caribbean. Thoughts and prayers are out with you as well, too. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Reese Jenkins, the guy that designed this logo. He's doing some pretty big things with lesser known comics, and he's got a Kickstarter going on. And so we'll have all that information in the link. And so shout out to you, Reese, man. You finally made it happen. And boy, we're proud of you over here.
Yeah, rooting for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over here at the Sports Bros Podcast. All right, now that we got it out of the way, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order. All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order. All right, fellas, so here we go. Another week of NFL football. And I posed a question to you and myself as well, too. With that being said, what did we learn this weekend, fellas, in the National Football League? Scottie D, you first.
We're 4 games in, normally what would be a quarter of the season, prior to the extra game being added on. And, man, there's a lot of different things I could say that I have learned going forward. I'm going to narrow it down to just a couple here. Number one thing I've learned, the AFC North is doo-doo. And that was a division we were expecting to be really good. The Ravens can't hold a lead. The Browns are in their funky situation between getting Deshaun Watson on the field and having said goodbye to Baker Mayfield. The Bengals got off to a bad start. They look to be maybe righting the ship. If they can protect their quarterback, they should emerge. But that division has been – everybody's 2-2. Actually, the Steelers are 1-2. But it's a teetering division. I learned that when Jerry Jones hired Mike McCarthy, I was angry because I wanted him to hire Matt Rule. I now have officially accepted the fact that was a better choice than what I would have chosen. That Matt Rule – and I know you guys are thinking along the lines I am, does not belong as the head coach for an NFL team. And I don't believe that Baker Mayfield at this point belongs being the starter for an NFL team. That's point number 2. And I know you guys might want to chew on that one a little bit before we get too much further, but hang on just a second. And before this season started, I predicted that the Rams would go back to the Super Bowl. I said the Bills would beat the Rams in the Super Bowl this year. I now believe that I am going to be wrong on that prediction. I have learned that the Rams are not going to be that strong. They have offensive line problems that make the Bengals jealous. Their quarterback had off-season arm surgery. He's not accurate with the football. His arm doesn't appear to be strong, and he appears to be running for his life back there. It's too early to say the sky's falling because I believe that the whole division is 2-2. They have time to right the ship. But they're only throwing the ball to one guy. Stafford's throwing the ball. He's got one offensive weapon, really. That's all they seem to be doing. Defensive, the defense is still okay, but they have a lot to overcome, I think, if they are going to get back to the big game, as I predicted back in August. Pick any of those 3 things, guys. You want to jump in on any of that stuff of what I'm telling you that I have learned.
You want to go first, Bilal? What you want to do?
I'm going to do this, and because the ship is going to change, and it's going to be back to the status quo. I don't think. I really want it to be, because I've been picking on this division for forever. The NFC East, that I love to call the NFC least, just might be the NFC beast. It might. Here's the thing. I'm not completely sold on the Giants, but they are 3-1. They are 3-1 for a reason. They put up battles against. Here's the thing. I don't know. But right now, as it sits, if you look across the entire NFL, the NFC East is the best division across all of football. And the thing about this is that we tend to turn to names of teams, not necessarily the talent that's on the team. We turn to names of teams. The Dallas Cowboys have been mediocre for so long that we just tend to sometimes write them off, especially when their star quarterback goes there. They're 3-1. They're holding their own without Dak. Now, does Dak learn from this? I am waiting for the controversy. Jerry Jones said it, and he is most likely going to regret those words because there will be controversy when Dak Prescott comes back. Because you know that he's going to start when he's healthy.
He's definitely going to start.
Right. So it's going to be exactly what was said. All right.
Here's the thing, though. Let me just hold before you move on. Let me just throw this at you. I don't know if there's going to be controversy as far as whether there's going to be a coaching decision to be made. That decision's made. It's going to be Dak Prescott.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they play an away game this week at the Rams. I believe the following week is at Philly. Dak is not playing this week. He already said he can't grip the football well enough. We don't know if he will in Philly. And then they come home after, and I don't know who they're playing when they come home. But the thing is, when Dak comes back and he's playing at home, and if he throws a couple errant passes, the fans are going to be booing him. Now, we could see Cooper Rush lay an egg completely the next 2 weeks, and then people say, I can't wait till Dak comes back. I mean, very easily, the Cowboys in 3 weeks could be 3-3. You know, very, very, very easily they could lose on the road to the Rams and on the road to the Eagles, and Cooper Rush could look terrible. But if he wins one of those games, or if they lose a close game, that's not really because of him. You know, if he continues to manage game well, not turn the ball over, let CeeDee Lamb make plays, let Zeke and Pollard run the ball. If all that stuff continues and the defense continues to just play like lights out like they have been, then if Dak comes in there and he throws a pick, the fans are going to let him have it, because it's already been a slow build the last couple of years. He's not winning big games. He's not winning playoffs. He's not beating winning teams. Trey Duke's leading the charge with the pitchforks and the lanterns. But I tell you, there's a lot more Trey Dukes out there. And if Dak has a bad game, especially at home, boy, the Trey Dukes are going to be out in full force letting him have it. So that's where the controversy will be amongst the fan base.
The controversy also with that is that the Cowboys are not only winning games, they're also getting healthier because Michael Gallup showed up. He's back. They're getting healthier, and they're still winning. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I would not wish this on anyone, but the amount of pressure that's going to be on Dak Prescott is going to be enormous. Mm-hmm. But I just want to put that out there. What I've also learned is that I don't think anybody in what we called before coming into the season, was the second toughest, I don't think anybody in the NFC West wants it.
Very shaky there, isn't
it? We thought this was one of the best divisions, and right now we're like, okay, right now leading the division, they're all 2-2. But when we look at the teams that are in this division, leading the division is a Jimmy G. Matt Stafford is a shell of his former self. I just threw him off of my fantasy team, by the way. threw him completely off. I'm waiting on waivers to clear. He is off my fantasy team, on one of my fantasy teams. Of course, we're not looking for much out of Seattle. And then Arizona, I don't even know who they really are.
I say I don't buy them, and that's why I thought Kingsbury was a hot seat candidate when we talked about a month or so ago. I'm having a hard time. I'm looking at the way the Cardinals kind of fizzled towards the end of last season, and they were like what 9-0 or 10-0 at one point, I think, and kind of fizzled out. So yeah, to your point, that they seem to not have a real identity at this point. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be Kyler Murray, but yeah,
maybe DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe he's that lightning rod. I don't know.
Could be.
But one thing I've also learned: And I don't know how this is going to happen, what way it's going to go, but I'm going to say this as a public service announcement to all of the Atlanta Falcon fans that are endorsing that Lamar Jackson gets paid top dollar. Stop it, because he has been performing real Atlanta Falconish because they cannot hold a lead. Oh my God, they will beat. If the game was 3 quarters, if it was 45 minutes, the Baltimore Ravens would be the best team in the NFL by far.
Mm-hmm.
But they cannot hold a lead, and they're sitting at 2-2, and I'm like, Lamar Jackson should be clearly the favorite for MVP if the game was 45 minutes. So I'm right now they're sitting in the middle of that mess in the AFC North. We don't know right now. I mean, we want, like, in the AFC altogether, is it the Chiefs? Is it still the Bills? The Bills have been shaky with the games against the Dolphins and the Ravens. Both of those games, I believe they could have lost, but they edged it out against the Ravens because that also Harbaugh, bro, kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Kick the field goal. Like, what are you doing? Put points on the board. It's a tie game. I'd understand if you were down, whatever. It's a tie game. You got to put points on the board. It's much different if you're losing by 3 points and you're trying to drive the ball down, or if you're tied and you're trying to drive the ball down. If you're tied, you don't have that much to lose. If you're losing by 3, you have a lot to lose, and you put that pressure.
I think you have to kick it too, but his explanation made sense to me, though. I get it, but
you know what? What explanation didn't make any sense to me? The entire Monday press conference with Matt Rule, which has at no point in time has taken any freaking accountability for anything that's going wrong with my Panthers.
I was not going to watch it because if I were to watch it, I would have been at work cussing and probably got fired. Be like,
he literally said during the press conference that he believes in his defense so much that he's willing to go for it on 4th down in their own territory because he believes their defense is that good. So you're telling me that you're willing to put our defense in bad situations because you no, blah, blah, blah. Hey. If I'm a defensive player on the Panthers, I'm like, yo, my dude, you don't put the whole thing on us. Kick the ball away. Let us work the field. Don't be doing the silly fake punts, an eligible receiver downfield, freaking going forward on 4th in our own territory when the game is still very close in the first. I'm sorry, my bad. Said I wasn't going to do it.
No, dude, you listen, this is year 3, and this is the year you have to see some kind of improvement. And it's just not, it's not there. I mean,
it's not,
I defended him last year and the year before. I said, well, he hasn't had much to work with. This is what his 3rd quarterback he's had as a starter. I mean, and he should be taking Baker Mayfield and help him make him better. And Baker's getting worse. He's only completing, I think, 50% of his passes. He's thrown the ball into the line. Like, I think he leads the league in batted down balls. I mean, things are out of sync there in such a bad way. The team is not trending in the right direction. He's going to be coaching Wisconsin next year or Nebraska or something.
Please.
Yeah, because he got to get the hell up out of Charlotte. I look at it like this when it comes to Carolina. We have everybody healthy. We should not be this bad. We have everybody healthy. There's no reason we should be this bad. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, Ed, what you think about it? I'm like, man, this is a mixture of the coaching and Baker Mayfield. I said it. I mean, yes, I told people, I said I would rather have a quarterback that will wake up in the morning and feel dangerous as opposed to a quarterback that sees ghosts, want to kiss girls, and catch mono. Talking about Sam Darnold. The thing about it is just, I don't know. I'm like, be live. Why are you putting our defense in this adverse situation that doesn't help us out? Our defense is good. Jeremy Chin, J.C. Horn, Brian Burns, The front end is pretty good. Dante Action Jackson, when he ain't getting burnt the hell up. We got a pretty good defense, a pretty solid, pretty stellar defense. But you just I don't know, man. I'm as far as Matt Rule goes, I'm done with his ass. I'm done with it. I've seen enough.
I'm gonna say this. Done. As an NFL coach, you end up with a roster. At the end of the day, you can say woulda, coulda, shouldas. We could have had this. We end up with the roster that we have. We got Baker Mayfield on a discount that I've never seen before in my life. We're paying $4 million for a number 1 draft pick.
Wow.
He has potential. He has skill. But there's certain limitations that he has that as an NFL head coach, you have to work towards his limitations. Hey, he can't see over the offensive line. Move the pocket. Literally, these are things that other quarterbacks, other teams have done with success. Look at the New Orleans Saints.
Yep.
I hate them. They are a division rival, but they made it work. Look at the Arizona Cardinals. They're making it work somehow. Yes, he's not as athletic as Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, I'm about to say something bad, but it doesn't make any sense. I could talk at length, ad nauseum, but he's not an NFL head coach. It's proven. It's time for him to go.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. He may not finish the year out, but but some guys, and it's been proven over and over again, from Steve Spurrier to Nick Saban, these other guys, that some guys are just meant to be college football head coaches. He was good at Temple. He was good at Baylor. And he may be good at Wisconsin or Nebraska or Arizona State. You never know. There's college coaches dropping left and right already too. Yeah. He could be good at one of those schools, but he does not seem to be the guy that should be coaching an NFL team. And I was wrong because I thought he was at the time I cheered that hiring and
Ben McAdoo ain't no better.
No, Slick McAdoo. He ain't no damn better neither. He ain't worked through that fly smash neither.
We have so much more show to talk about. Boy.
But as far as the Dallas Cowboys, there's an interesting situation in Dallas. Everybody's getting healthy, and let's talk about that defense.
Yeah,
the defense looks good. The defense is keeping them in games, led by number 11 from heaven, Michael Parsons. And then Diggs is just it's a great recipe, and I think the Cowboys are going to get progressively stronger over the year. The New York Jets, sneaky. They are
2 wins.
Yeah, they are sneaky because when it comes to New York Jets, if there's blood in the water, they will attack. They're throwing the Philly special. They beat Pittsburgh, right?
They did.
Oh Lord, they beat Pittsburgh, and Kenny Pickett came in and threw a pick. So, I mean, I think like this might be Pittsburgh's first losing season in quite some time.
It's trending that way because they have more problems than putting Kenny Pickett in as the starter is going to fix. And he is going to be the starter this week. He's been elevated to QB1, I believe. But they are... maybe a lot of the blame is going to their offensive coordinator Matt Canada. I mean, he's getting a lot of blame. It remains to be seen whether he can make this offense go with Kenny Pickett, a rookie, a guy who, granted, he was a 4-year guy at Pitt, started I think his last 2 years and got progressively better. If he continues to get better, then okay, that's what you expect out of a first round pick. Personally, I thought he should have been the starter from week 1 because he had a little bit of momentum coming off of the preseason. I mean, it's preseason. It is what it is. You're not going to go to the Hall of Fame by playing well in the preseason, but he looked good enough to say, okay, you picked me first. Let's play him. But again, I'm not there during the week of practice. I don't know what the guy looks like in camp and in practice and all that. But I know this: they have some skilled positions. I mean, they have good wide receivers. They have a talented running back. The offensive line's still a little suspect, but let's see if he can provide a spark. He didn't this past week. He did. I guess he did to an extent because he had a couple of rushing touchdowns. And that was the idea, is to get him in there and to spark the team. But the Steelers fell short. They have more problems than just Kenny Pickett's going to come in and save the season.
Kenny Pickett has got to be in one of the worst situations possible. He is the future of that team. He's going to be their quarterback for years to come. But for him to get thrown in the second half for the Jets, he's going to be the starter. This is what he has to face coming up. He has the Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills next.
On the road.
Then he has one of the best defenses in the league, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Then he has these upstart dudes from Miami. He's got the Miami. Then he has the best team in all of NFL right now, the Philadelphia Eagles, on the road. And then let's not sleep on the New Orleans Saints defense. And then you have the AFC champions, Cincinnati. Dude,
on NBC night game. Yeah,
it's not going to
be a tough road.
Oh my God!
Maybe that's why they didn't want to start him anyway. Maybe they said, right. Trubisky has a little bit of seasoning, but the team was just not rallying around him. He was not good, and some guys are just below the 32 best quarterbacks in the world. They're like among the 50 best in the world. And that's guys like Mitchell Trubisky and Baker Mayfield. That's the kind of guys that are good enough to be in the league, but they're not the guy that should be starting every week.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm just wondering how this, you know what? No more talk about my Panthers.
Eddie, cool. What'd you learn? You got something you want to tell us that you learned so far from this season?
The Jets are sneaky. Pittsburgh is in trouble. The Rams are in trouble. And Geno Smith is playing better than Russell Wilson. But then that
I don't know if we learned anything from that other than that's more of a head scratcher kind of thing right there.
Right.
Yeah,
I tell you what I didn't learn but was kind of reinforced to me, and that is the Chiefs are still the team to beat in the AFC. They went out and laid an egg against the Colts on the road last Sunday, and they did what champions do. They came back and they went at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a big way.
They did.
On the road. Tyreek Hill. Here's what I learned. Tyreek Hill makes the offense electric for Miami, and Tyreek Hill not being in Kansas City, the offense is still electric there because Patrick Mahomes is still a bad boy. He lit him up. He played like out of his mind, just like he was in the zone. Thrown to Kelsey and a little backyard flip to Edwards-Helaire.
Oh my God, that's like I saw that at work. When I saw that at work, I was like, "Oh, he caught. Wait a minute. Is he about to?" And as soon as he did a little dump pass to Edwards-Helaire, I went back to work. I'm like, the league is in trouble. Well, if Patrick Mahomes is playing like that, the league is in trouble. That's all I got to say.
I would love to just sit down with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Like, these you don't call these plays. It's just this is backyard throwback football, and we're seeing it on a professional level. It's beautiful to watch.
It really is.
I was like, good Lord, what do you do? Because their defense is getting better. It's on Kansas City. Hey, it's a beautiful
right now. I feel like Kansas City and Buffalo right now are like the two best teams in the NFL, and then there's everybody else. That to me, that with all due respect to the Dolphins and Eagles, because they've had great starts, I just feel like those are the two best teams. And I know Buffalo has struggled a little bit last couple of weeks. I think over the course of the season, the Bills are going to look more like we saw in the first couple of weeks and these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the Bills have been battling injuries too. On the defensive side of the ball, they've been, but I mean, do you think we get another Ken Dorsey moment? I mean, that's a jiffable moment. That is a very jiffable moment. All right, fellas, moving right along. Let's go ahead and ask this question about baseball. Fellas, what do we learn from this past season as we go into the playoffs? Scottie D, you go first.
Well, I learned that the home run is still magic. And we talked about that a little bit last week. That the Aaron Judge, Chasen Maris thing, and he tied with 3 games to go. He still needs one more to move ahead of him. And Pujols has been just a joy to watch. I learned, here's something I learned earlier today that I didn't realize, but I think Kyle Schwarber, he's like, 46 home runs or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize. I learned that
just today that he was overshadowed.
Somehow
completely
under the radar with over 40 home runs like that. And Philly is good, and they're into the wild card round already. They have clinched. I learned that last season was not a fluke when the Braves came from behind, because here they are again. They were behind all season long, and here they are in the driver's seat, having swept the Mets over the weekend. I picked my preseason pick for the World Series was Dodgers and Yankees. The Dodgers, with their season over 100 wins, I can't shy away from that. Yankees got to get their pitching in order, and they have to get this lineup set. They've had a lot of injuries. They need DJ LeMahieu leading off, not Aaron Judge. Let Aaron Judge bat behind him, because behind Aaron Judge is a lot of question marks with the bat. So I don't know that I learned a lot baseball season other than some of what I expected what was fulfilled. How about you, Eddie Cool? What'd you learn?
I learned that Shohei Ohtani is still that damn dude.
Yeah.
Correction. Ohtani Shohei. If I'm going to say his name, I'm going to say his name right. Ohtani, he's still that dude. And didn't they give him didn't they sign him to some more money?
Yeah, you got a big deal.
What was it just 1 year though?
A 1 year, then I believe he'll be a free agent after next season.
Yeah, 30 million, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So to the other 30 plus teams out there in Major League Baseball, the competitors, save this man from a career purgatory. Don't let him be the next Mike Trout.
I think it's one and done, or one. It's not one more and done. I think it's got to be.
Yeah. The San Diego Padres. They just, I don't want to say they kind of let me down, but I thought it would have been more competitive than what it would have been this season. And the third thing that I learned this year, you ain't got to have a lot of big time stars if you're the Cleveland Guardians as you win your division and you're going to the playoffs. Yeah, so the Cleveland Guardians, they got solid pitching, they manufacture runs, and they've been making things happen. So much so to the point that they won their division. So that's what I learned.
Oh man. Can I tell y'all what I've learned?
I'd love to hear it.
I've learned that, and I'll say it again, because I believe I said this on a previous podcast, that the Mets pitching is vulnerable. Jacob deGrom, Matt Scherzer.
DeGrom doesn't look unbeatable anymore, does he?
The Braves showed them who we thought they were. And on top of that, my Braves, the fountain of youth. They have not one but 2 Rookie of the Year candidates, Spencer Strider, Michael Harris Jr. My goodness. I think it's my dude from Seattle Mariners. Was it Julio Rodriguez?
Yep.
Yeah. That is having a lights out year as well. It's been a year of youthful talent. And to have 2 players on the Braves that are up for Rookie of the Year candidacy it's just a beautiful thing to watch. And really, when it comes down to it, I have to give hats off to my boy Hunter Simboli. He's been covering the Cleveland Indians, Guardians, such and such roller derby team this entire season. Had to do it. You got to search. You got to Google search something.
Yeah.
But he's been covering the team all season. And the Guardians have showed that they have grinded it out and they have separated themselves in the AL Central. And I'm curious. I'm excited to see what they do in the postseason. The postseason is set. Now it's all about seeding. Braves, all they have to do is win one game or the Mets lose one game. The Braves to be number 2 seed, the Mets to be the number 4 seed. All right, as it sits, the Cleveland Guardians sit. They have won their division. Mariners have won wild card. Not the Rangers, but the Astros. They have won their division. They are the number 1 seed in the AL. The Dodgers #1 in the NL. Cardinals have won their division. Phillies have won the wild card. They're a game ahead of the Padres for the 5th seed. And all of that matters. It's about to go down.
And guess what else is about to go down? The B-Live. Oh, you know what time it is.
Bring it on.
Let's ready, y'all, for the B-Live Top 5. Coming up next, right here on the Sports Bros Podcast. See how good we look? We look good. B-Live Top 5 coming right up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, people, those that like football, don't like football.
Boys, girls, people.
Animals. Pikachus, monkeys, gorillas, and zebras. This is the B-Live Top 5.
Oh, man. You know how much I'm amped and excited about college football and how much that Scottie D doesn't like it at all. But it's okay.
I love it.
I bring the heat because it's what I do. This is the B-Live Top 5. I'm going to do very similarly what I did last week because my top 5, the teams stayed the same, but the order changed just a little bit. So I'm going to brush up on what I believe are the top 5 teams in this particular order. Number 5, I'm putting the Michigan Wolverines at number 5. Number 4 is my shocker. Guess what? Georgia is number 4. I dropped them all the way.
No, because you said last week that wasn't going to. They were number 1. That's not going to be changing. That's what you said last week.
I can change whatever.
You said it.
The proof is out on the.
Why should I listen to you this week if you lied to me last week?
I would have called me a lie because
Georgia his list is fluid. His list is fluid.
Say it one more time. Say it with your chest.
His list
Georgia lied. Georgia lied on that football field when they played Mizzou. They lied to us. They lied. That was a terrible lie. I thought Kent State was a fluke.
Did they win?
That don't mean a bit. It's how
it means there was a little fib there. There's a little tiny, a little white lie.
Nobody respects Mizzou.
Hey, that's my home state you're talking about.
You're really from Missouri?
I was born there. We'll talk about it later.
Yes. All right. Breaking news. The pride of Washington, Pennsylvania is not really from Washington, Pennsylvania. After 174 episodes, we thought we knew this guy. But yes. Wow. All right. When you really thought you knew somebody. But yes, Georgia lied to us on that field. They lied. We thought they were that dominant. And I have to lead off with this. The reason why this list changed is because I have to take into consideration who these teams have played. Georgia has played nobody. No offense, Eddy Cool. But who have they actually played? They played nobody that's ranked. They beat up on a lot of unranked teams. They beat up on. This is what they've done. So when Alabama was floundering against Texas, when Ohio State struggled against Notre Dame, when Michigan didn't know who their quarterback was, so Georgia was dominant for the games they weren't dominant against Kent State, and they almost lost. They were dominated for 3+ quarters against Mizzou. Mizzou was up by double digits. Georgia lied to us. Number 3, Clemson. Clemson moves up to number 3, and the reason why is because they're the only team in the top 5 that has beaten 2 top 25 teams. Oh. They're the only team. So you got to put that. It's in their resume. Right now, NC State is 14. Wake Forest is 15. Anybody else got a resume better than that? I think not. Number two, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Because I think Clemson is trending up more than any other team right now. I think they're trending in the right direction. DJU is doing his thing. This is not a homer pick. This is what I'm seeing. Number 2, though, I'm going to give Ohio State. Ohio State, I still think they're one of the most talented teams. They're going to score, and they're going to score in bunches. I don't see a team in the Big Ten that's going to match up with Ohio State. Not even Michigan at this point. There's a reason why I put Michigan number 5, Ohio State at number 2. And number 1, Uncle Max, they're back.
Roll Tide.
Alabama. The reason why I didn't put so much emphasis on this is because these are the same 5 teams I've had for the majority of the season. I gave a couple other teams a little chance, whatever. They blew it.
And so you didn't pick Kansas in the top 5?
Come on, bro. Let's not
undefeated. Kansas is undefeated.
Kansas has been bad for the past 5 years. All right,
or longer.
A broken clock is right twice a day. Okay.
Their best win is against a 4-1 Duke. That'd be just come on.
Big win. Big win.
They beat Duke. Yeah, house.
Look what happened. Coach K retires. Kansas beats Duke.
That had nothing to do with nothing.
Oh, different sport. That's right.
Absolutely. But hey, them basketball, the Blue Bloods have been doing not so bad. 4-1 Duke, 4-1 Kentucky, 4-1 North Carolina, Kansas 5-0. That's pretty strong for basketball programs.
Yeah.
So I got to put them out there. But the reason why I put emphasis on Georgia lying to us is because what I like to feature more than anything, as opposed to the top 5, same 5 teams, just shuffle around a little bit. This is BeLive's not top 5 because they want to do all these rankings all early in the season, and they don't really matter. And it's because of these 5 teams that I am going to mention. Oh, man. Starting at number 5.
Number 5.
Minnesota. The Gophers. What are you doing? What happened? Like, I just don't quite understand Minnesota. You are the how's the Big Ten split up again? I thought it was the Big Ten East. It's not the Big Ten East or West, North. I forget exactly how it went, but Minnesota made it to the Big Ten championship last year. We were hoping for the same thing this year, and you just cannot, and I mean, you cannot lay an egg just like Minnesota did.
Can I take a time out here?
Go for it. Go for it. What you got going
on? You're going to talk about 4 more teams. I'm hoping that one of those teams better not be one of those teams I think it is. And
it absolutely is. I already know.
We're not going to talk about.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. This is my segment.
I started this show off telling you how much I appreciated you. Let's just talk about 3 teams, and we'll leave the other team.
Okay, all right.
We won't talk about that. Yeah, we'll just make this the BeLive top 4. Go ahead.
All right. Like I said, time in. Minnesota against Purdue. Come on. It's Purdue. You're supposed to show your dominance. I'm gonna figure out how they divided their conference again, but Minnesota, we were rooting for you. And again, we don't know how the Big Ten. How is those divisions broken up again? Somebody help me out with that while I go on to number 4.
It is the Big Ten. I'm looking now.
We don't care. Just give us the rest of them. We don't care.
The Big Ten East, the Big Ten East, and the Big Ten West.
It is broken. It is broken up that way.
Yes.
Well, we have a repeat. Performance here when it comes to the BeLive not top 5. Texas A&M. What are you doing? I'm gonna say this again. What are you doing, Texas A&M? You're number 4, and you make an appearance again. Did y'all forget? Y'all forgot y'all had a game. You're looking ahead to Alabama.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming.
Y'all forgot. Not only did y'all forget to play this week, Y'all also caused ESPN College Game Day from coming to y'all because they much rather see, as opposed to Texas A&M and Alabama, they now much rather see Kansas. Game Day's going to Kansas.
Oh, Lord.
What happened? This is supposed to be the game that we all marked on our calendars.
Yep.
And Texas A&M. Yep, that makes number 4. So I guess because Scottie D wants me to skip and go because I only have 4 teams now. Now I have 5 teams. Because come on. Y'all lost to Georgia Tech.
Okay.
At home. At home, the Fighting Narduzzi's.
Damn.
It's the refs' fault.
God.
I blame the refs.
Georgia Tech. They didn't even have a coach, and they fired their coach.
I know. Yeah, Pitt lost to a team who the previous week didn't have the same coach. Yeah, that happened at home. Yeah, that was an egg, a big old blue and gold egg. Moving on to number 2.
Number 2, and I said this at length and at nauseum in my top 5. They're still number 4, but in my not top 5, they are overrated. Overrated, and that's the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. They are number 2 in my overrated Be Live, not top 5. It's Mizzou, people. It is Mizzou. I can't say this enough. It's Mizzou. There's a lot of teams where you expect them to step up to the plate and play you better than they normally do, but it's Mizzou. And they were beating them by double digits for the majority of the game. That was supposed to be the upset of the century. Y'all climbed back in, but that ain't it. Georgia, not sure. Y'all have plenty of time to prove me wrong. Absolutely. That's why I do what I do. I'm calling you out, Bulldogs. Because I think right now, if it was Georgia versus Clemson, I think we have something for y'all this year. I said what I said.
Uh-oh. You said what he said. And ladies and gentlemen.
But when it comes to number 1, in the Be Live, not top 5, it hurts me. It pains me to say this.
Get ready, Scottie D. Get ready.
All roads lead to Dabo.
It's not Clemson.
Once you become a head coach, you're on your own, buddy. Number 1,
bettable.
Oklahoma. A Venables-led team let TCU score 55 points.
50, Burgle. Well done, baby.
55. I was like, they scored 41 points at the half. They scored 27 points in their first quarter. Coach Venables, you are the defensive guru. What happened? Oklahoma, you're out of the top 25. You are now bottom dwelling in the Big 12. And y'all better fix something quick because this performance will not bode very well in the almighty SEC. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your Be Live. Overrated Be Live. Not top 5. What say you, Scottie D, outside of my Pittsburgh being number 3? I already because you felt it.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh, he's going to Pittsburgh here in a second. So and that was deserved, honestly. I mean that to not be able to beat Georgia Tech at home and lose like that. But I know they scored a couple late late points to make the score look closer than it was. But I still wouldn't pull Georgia or put Georgia on that list, just considering the fact that they are still Georgia and they are still the number 2 team in the country. And when they were facing adversity, they pulled it out and won. They came back.
They are the number 4 team in the country on my list. Okay. They're the number 2 team on my not top 5. I'll make sure you get it. Yes, they're number 2 by those other rankings that whatever. They don't mean anything either right now. They want to make it seem like it means something.
Yeah. I would have thought maybe Baylor, having taken 2 early losses, maybe would have slid down out of there. But it's a respectable list. You thought outside the box there by putting a power team also in the not top 5. So Georgia making both lists, very interesting.
Yeah, and again, I thought about Baylor, but again, that would be disrespectful to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State right now sits the top of the Big 12. And
I'm just saying that them having 2 losses, would have. And I think the other one was the BYU, who's also a top 25 team. So it's not like they lost to terrible teams, but
and that's what I thought.
2 in 5 weeks is not good for a good team.
I thought about Kentucky, but again, I try to look at teams that lost to ranked teams. That happens because the rankings don't necessarily matter. That's the reason why Behind the Be Live not top 25, the top 5 is because, okay, some of these ranked games, yes, you may be right in some sense. Both of these teams are top 25. They may be just not as high as they should have been, but you're supposed to win those games against those teams. That Mizzou, come on. Like Mizzou will never be top 25 ever in anything, but they should not be winning by double digits.
I don't know. Kansas, Syracuse, 2 undefeated teams, perennial doormats in the NCAA. Never say never.
Yeah, you never say never. But looking at my phone, fellas, guess what time it is?
What time is it? What happened? What's going on? I want to know.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It is time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming at you right now.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. Scottie D likes when I scream like a raving lunatic, so that's why I do that. I love it. It is the choices of the voices. When we ask you the question, you give us the answer, and we talk about it right here on Choices of the Voices on the Sports Bros Podcast. With that being said, Scottie D, what's the question for this week's Choices of the Voices?
Got a little tricky this week by asking you what your favorite trick play was that you've seen on any level of football, high school, college, NFL, and we had some pretty cool answers here. A few repeats, and that just shows how some of these were significant and stuck out to people through the years. So, Eddie, cool. What'd we get here? Let's talk about some of the answers.
All right, let's get into it. All right, Trey Dizzle. He said this was my favorite. Out quarterback presented the good to be tricked our entire fan base and the ownership into believing it.
So he's got a meme of Dak Prescott fumbling, saying that he pretended to be good and he tricked everybody.
Yeah, then he stole $200 million from the owner. I hope his kids are all girls.
I'm not doing this with him.
Trey Dizzle is the gift that keeps on giving. All right, we got Mark Oles. He said the hook and ladder in the Miami Dolphins versus Chargers in double overtime, where Kellen Winslow was carried off the field from exhaustion.
Yeah, and a few years ago when we were talking about the greatest football games we've ever seen, the greatest NFL game we ever saw, that was to me, still my choice, and that was I think 1982 was that game or 81, and I remember as a kid watching that game, and that hook and ladder play is the I'd say it's the most famous, but the Kellen Winslow blocking field goals and all that crazy. That was just a crazy game all around. It was phenomenal. But that hook and ladder from Don Strock to Dario Harris, flipping it back to Tony Nathan, that was a spark to the Dolphins, and they had fallen behind early in that game, and they got them back in the second quarter. Going into halftime, if they didn't take the lead, they had closed the gap. But that was probably the most famous version of this ever, really, because it was of the success of it. Very exciting.
Yep. Brian Lavelle, he said, that's mine as well, referring to Mark Old's hook and ladder play. Although Boise State game was pretty amazing as well, too. He's referring to the Statue of Liberty play.
Yeah, and actually, I think they had this is against Oklahoma in what was like 2007 or so.
Yep.
But I think they also didn't they have a hook and ladder play that worked initially that they ran. I think they had 2 trick plays in that game. I think they ran a hook and lateral, and then they ran the Statue of Liberty one to win the game with the 2-point conversion. But I think they had one as well.
I don't remember that, but I remember that one play. I think was it Ian Johnson? Yeah, Ian Johnson. He
took the behind the back handoff and then proposed to his girlfriend on the sideline.
I'm about to say, and then proposed to his girlfriend. I wonder how that's working for him. Hell of a way to propose to his girlfriend.
It was, yeah, it was cool.
Yep. All right, Tony Bogan, he said Statue of Liberty from that same game, the Boise State Oklahoma Fiesta Bowl. He said that whole game was a fever dream.
It was crazy. It was crazy finish.
Yeah.
Awesome game. That's probably, you talk to college football fans, that's always going to rank up there, I think, for among the best games I ever watched because of how cool that was. Especially considering Boise State was kind of an upstart going against a traditional powerhouse and was able to get that win.
Yep, it was all inspired by Appalachian State. I think it was the same year they beat Michigan at home. All right, we got Joel Turner. He said, "Where did you get the Dean Struckenhire? I think that's how you spell the man.
Steinkooler.
Okay, Dean Steinkooler image from. And he said the Fumblerooski. Awesome picture and was a great play. That is college football, was college football to me. So the Fumblerooski, was that the Nebraska and Miami?
Yeah, in the Orange Bowl in 1984. Yeah, you don't have to read the whole we have a whole long novel written about this, but
that's okay.
The gist of it was
it got condensed.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, shout out to B-Live. It got condensed.
This is to our buddy Joel Turner, who did an appearance on our show a while back.
Shout out to Joel Turner, man. Hope all is well with you. The best name in the game, JoJo Comfort. He said that Dan Marino fake spike play against the Jets was fire. Big time set of stones for pulling that off.
Yeah, that was that was the first time we'd really seen that, I believe. Some other, it's since been done by other players, but that was the first time we ever saw that. It was like, and I think it was unplanned, wasn't it? Wasn't it something like Marino and whoever his receiver was kind of like eyeballed each other and decided that like at the last second to do it? Very good call. I like that answer because that was one I hadn't even given any thought to.
Yeah, that was against the Jets, and they won that game. That was pretty ballsy. All right, we got Uncle Max. He said it was a high school play long ago when Mountain Brook was playing Vestivia. Mountain Brook lined up in the I formation. The quarterback started to count and then pulled up and walked towards the sideline with his hands in the air as if he was going to call a timeout. The defense then stood up and relaxed, and the center snapped the ball to the tailback, and he ran 40 yards to the touchdown. To me, that was the definition of trickeration.
Yeah, good call. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Martin Tracy Matty Ice, he said, one of my favorite trick plays, Leon Lett's Thanksgiving blunder, also Mark Sanchez's butt fumble. And this just in, Aaron Judge hits number 62.
No, he didn't. Did he?
Yep.
What?
I thought that was. Oh, they had a doubleheader today, didn't they?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the early one.
What are we looking at again?
Aaron Judge.
Breaking news: Aaron Judge just hit number 62. It is all.
Oh, it is. Yes, and it wasn't during a college football game, and ESPN didn't split screen it. To each and every one of y'all that wanted to stop college football, hey, my bad. I'm sorry.
I loved it. I love that coverage that they did this past week.
Wow. Trick plays and a historic home run. Congratulations.
Aaron Judge.
Yeah, Aaron Judge. I'm sorry. Mike Judge. Mike Judge. Beavis and Butthead. Hey, Beavers. All right, so here we go. Shout out to Trey Dizzle. Mark
where are we at though? Did we catch somebody's answer? Oh yeah, Matty Ice talking about Leon that penalty box today. Continue.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, and he also said Mark Sanchez's butt fumble. Ain't no trickeration about that. Well, you might as well add the butt punt while you at it too.
Yeah. Was that all the answers off of both pages?
Yes.
Yep. That's all we got.
Everything. Okay.
Shout out to Trey Dizzle, Mark Olds, Brian Lavelle, Tony Bogan, Joel Lee Turner, JoJo Comfort, the best name in the game, Uncle Max, the Hall of Famer himself, and Matty Ice, Martin Tracy for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. Be Live, Trick Play, what you got?
Oh, man. This is something near and dear to my heart because I think it was said best in the movie The Replacements. Whenever you get a big guy touchdown, you get a big guy dance. And this part of this does not go all rosy to Dabo, but it does go back to the Clemson days. But a shout out to the fridge.
Hey.
William the Refrigerator Perry with I believe it was Super Bowl 20.
Yeah, Super Bowl 20.
When he lined up as a fullback and every bit of 350 pounds and just ran. It ain't even that much of a trick, but it's just a defensive player lined up on the offensive side of the ball and running it in. And then a tribute to the fridge, my man breakdancing himself. Because I believe, Fridge was known for the Super Bowl shuffle. And then you got my man breakdancing, Christian Wilkins for the Miami Dolphins. He has 2 NFL receptions for touchdowns. So big man lining up on the offensive side of the ball, catching the ball for a touchdown and breakdancing in the end zone. Come on. It may not be that much of a trick, but it's just a beautiful thing to see. Christian Wilkins also lined up for fullback at Clemson and ran in a couple touchdowns, and then also as a leading blocker. It was just a beautiful thing. Just seeing the big boys on the defensive side having fun on the offensive side of the ball. I love it. I want some more of it. Big boys need some love too. The Fridge, Perry, William Perry, and Christian Wilkins. Gotta love it. Yes, sir. Scottie D, what's your trick play of choice?
Well, I'm gonna give you one from each level, and I know you guys have seen this one, but in 2013 at a JV high school game, El Camino, the nephew of Jaleel Pinkett, had an 80-yard touchdown run when he lined up early in the game. The center handed him the ball legally, and he walked over to the side and said, "Coach, this is the wrong ball." He's holding up the wrong ball, and the other team just froze, and he just took off down the sidelines, 80 yards. He took the old wrong ball play. Unbelievable that the entire other team would fall for that, but it was just like a slow snap, and he sold it like something was legitimately wrong. Joel Turner briefly talked about the fumble Rooski, and I can remember watching that game as a kid, and everybody in the stadium was fooled because they legit just laid the ball down, and the guard for Nebraska picked it up and took off down the sideline and scored a touchdown. That one in college to me is like the epitome of a trick play, old school trick play that you just really don't see a whole lot of teams have the guts to run something like that anymore, because it has to be perfect. Because if you just lay it down like it could get kicked backwards, the other team could spot it and grab it. The fumble Rooski was pretty incredible, as well as the Cal Stanford. You can call it a trick play. The multiple laterals that ended up with the band is on the field and the whole thing. I already talked about the Miami hook and lateral play, but there was another one, and this is a shame because this one did not count. But this was back when the Bears and Packers were playing, and Devin Hester was like the most dangerous return man in the league. The Packers punted, and Devin Hester was lined up on the left side of the field and was playing like he was going to catch the punt. And the whole defense went towards him. Only the punt didn't go to him. It went to Johnny Knox on the other side of the field.
I remember
and
that.
he took the punt and he ran it back, and nobody even knew he had the ball except for, I think, just the punter, because he knew which direction he kicked it. And the Chicago team, and there was like a holding call or something that brought it back.
Yep.
It didn't count, but it was insane, and it was a beauty. And that was like I thought that was very creative. I never saw anything quite like that. So that was another cool one. How about you, Eddie? Cool, what you got?
Let's see. I got a few of them. Let's see. The first play, no one mentioned the Music City Miracle.
I was going to, and I passed it off to you. I had that written down, and I decided to not say yes. Yeah. Controversy abounds in that one.
Yeah. Was his foot over the line? Did he throw it behind? Was it parallel to the line? Marv Levy mad as hell with a big old coat on that was bigger than him. So it was just absolute madness, and the Titans won the game. It's a kickoff.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it
Wade Phillips was actually the head coach of the Bills, because Wade Phillips was losing his mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I got Marv Levy from. I just see Marv Levy mad as
hell.
He
was there.
He was there. Yeah, he was there. He was there too. He's been there for like 90 years. But Wade Phillips was like, what the hell is going on? And then I think, was it Frank Wycheck threw it to
Dyson?
No, I think it's
Wycheck threw it. Yeah, it was Wycheck.
Yeah, Wycheck threw it to Dyson. I think Lorenzo Neal had something to do with it, but I might be tripping.
May have pitched it back. I think.
Yes,
I don't think Wycheck didn't field it. It was pitched back to him.
Yeah. Lorenzo Neal fielded, and then he pitched it back to Wycheck, and then Wycheck threw like across the other side of the field, and nothing but daylight. Kevin Dyson gone to the house. Wild card playoffs.
Incredible.
That's one. Number two is the Philly special that we saw in the Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Eagles. So didn't see that coming. Now we saw early in that game where they tried to trick play and Tom Brady tried to catch the ball, and we see how bad that went. And I guess Philly was like, "Oh, you want to do trick plays?" In the words of Usher, watch this. We got a trick play, and so I was like, "What is Nick Foles doing?" I was like, "Oh man, it's a trick play, Philly special." I'm like, "I hope he catch the ball," and he did. So that was another good one. I think my senior year of high school, I forgot who the hell we were playing against, but we also ran a hook and ladder play too. Now, the offense that we ran was a wing T offense, which means we ran the hell out of James Wilson, number 44, one of the greatest running backs in the history of Normal Beach High School. He ran the ball furious, and so I guess we decided to throw a little trickeration in the situation and run a hook and ladder. I think Stephon Gore completed the pass to, I think it was, I don't remember who it was, but I remember Mac Reese Vereen getting the ball and just streaking down the sideline, and it was just a thing of beauty. Did he score the touchdown? I don't think so, but a hook and ladder, a Philly special, and Music City Miracle, 1, 2, and 3.
Very good.
Very nice. I like it. Oh, this trick plays are beautiful. I really like that. I think I love it more, especially in college football, pro football. I mean, it's one of those things where it's nice. It's nice to see them just have fun with it. But yeah, it's college football. The creativity of it is beautiful. I love it. Yes, sir.
The flea flicker is a pretty good play too when ran right. The flea flicker, it's a pretty dope play too.
Yeah, and I remember the Steelers ran something like that in the Super Bowl with Randall L throwing
Yes, they did.
It was like a fake reversal, and he pulled up and threw it. Maybe the Heinz Ward, I can't remember, but I know Randall L was the one that threw the pass.
Yeah. Little do people know that Antoine Randall L was also a college quarterback, and he played for Indiana University. He was a Hoosier.
Yeah. Correct.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Trivia, useless trivia that you didn't know. All right. With that being said, it's been another edition of the Choices of the Voices. And Scottie D, what's on tap for next week?
All right, we're gonna do a kind of a odd one here in the NFL, but think back to years ago when we had like an annual meeting between Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, the Colts and Patriots. And yet you fast forward and both of those guys wore uniforms to different teams. So I want you to think of the question is, give us a player who you associate with one team that ended up with another and which one of those guys you thought looked the strangest in their new uniform. You know, Peyton Manning kind of looked weird in a Broncos uniform, but he stuck around long enough to go to the Super Bowl twice with that team.
Don't want to talk about it. All right, cool. Moving on. Anyway.
Well, it doesn't have to be a quarterback. It can be other players.
I know it can be, but you bring up this.
What NFL player who you associate with the team did you find looked most strange when he switched teams and put on a different uniform? That will give us something to talk about next week.
Hey, man, don't you got the wrong uniform on? What you doing? That's the reaction.
Gary Rice, what are you doing in that Raiders uniform? You don't belong in that.
That's a good answer.
A Seahawks uniform? Jerry, come on, bro.
That one looked really weird, yeah.
Julius Peppers in a Green Bay uniform? Come on, bro.
Yeah. There's a lot of these on there. But then there's some, like, I remember when Kurt Warner suited up for the Cardinals. He had won these, been to the Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl with the Rams. I remember thinking he kind of looks natural in that Cardinals uniform. He looked okay in that, but and he had actually been in a Giants uniform prior to that. Maybe that's why there was a buffer in between. But hey, there's a lot of them out there. But which one did you really like when you look at like that? Does not look right. That just really doesn't do it for me.
All right, there we go. You got your all set up for next week's Choice of the Voices. Coming up next, Around the Pepper. And girl, I've told you on several occasions, why you so hard-headed? Don't sneeze on me and wipe your boogers on my shirt.
Who is this girl you talking to, Equal? I want to see her.
She's snotty. That's all I know. She's had a cold this entire year. You sure?
I gotta make the girl a hot toddy, some tea. The weather, blowing boogers. Yeah, I don't want that thing or that Rona. So, anyways, Pepper coming right up after this.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Well, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, we're going to do a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really. Here to engage, entertain, enlighten, and educate. The 4 E's in no particular order. All right? With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1915, Detroit Tigers speedster Ty Cobb, yes, Ty Cobb, you know who Ty Cobb is, I'm pretty sure you do, all right, steals his 96th base of the season in a 5-0 loss to the Cleveland Indians. All right, now that 96 base record, it stood for a while until 1962, and guess who broke it?
Lou Brock.
No, I think Scottie D, I think you talked about him a few weeks ago. Maury Wills.
Oh, Marvel. Oh, yeah. He passed, yeah.
Yes,
yep.
Nice.
Yep, Maury Wills, and he said, you know what? He got 96. Watch this. I don't know if they did watch this back then, but he in 62, he had 104 stolen bases. And then probably about 20 years later, a dude named Ricky Henderson came along and just put the world upside down. And stolen bases haven't been stolen bases ever since. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, so about a week or so ago, early last week, Jalen Ramsey of the Rams, the cornerback, ripped the NFL because he keeps getting fined. He's been fined for his socks or his tights or his knee pads. And this is something the NFL does. They send like the fashion police, the uniform police to each game. And if you're not wearing your socks correctly, or if you have a towel hanging too low, or if you're showing your knees or skin like a certain Colts player did a few years ago, they will fine you for that. And Jalen Ramsey said he's had enough of that. He's past that. He said, this is silly. You need to worry more about player safety. And then Thursday night came and Tua did the crazy finger thing, laying on his back in the middle of the field. And since then, the doctor has been fired and the player safety has been kind of up in the air again. Tua will be held out of next Sunday's game. And, Jalen Ramsey brings up a good point. Now, I think he said that out of frustration because one really has nothing to do with the other. It's 2 different issues, 2 different things that the league is looking at. But it just seems like with the concussion thing that this issue is still not quite under control. Not sure how this is going forward, but the Dr. Live, as you said, was a scapegoat. Interesting to see how this investigation unfolds as we find out more of who cleared Tua, whether he should have been cleared, whether he should not have been cleared. Stay tuned. More information to come on the Tua head injury. Live, over to you.
That doctor was the unaffiliated neurological there's a C in there, whatever. He wasn't the only one that cleared Tua.
Exactly.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins, you got some more explaining to do. Y'all been shady. I'm gonna leave it at that. My first pepper point, you know me as a fan, I tend to be pretty biased when it comes to my teams who I support. You know I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. You know I'm a Clemson Tiger fan. You know I'm a Charlotte Hornet fan. You know I'm a Carolina Hurricanes fan. You also know when it comes to Major League Baseball, I am a diehard, fear to chop, 48, chop on Atlanta Braves fan.
You don't say.
But at the end of the day, you've got to give respect to where respect is due. I'm going to throw in a couple of dates, a couple of quotes, and a couple of names. Back in June 5th, 2000, wow, there are a lot of catching Molina brothers. And this is referring to Yadier Molina. Wow, there's a few other Molinas in the league at the time. December 13th, 2003, and this is a quote, "After all, if the Braves, my Atlanta Braves, the team with the best reputation for young pitchers in the whole sport, let him, he's also a Georgia native, by the way, let him go so willingly, there must be something wrong with him." They were talking about Adam Wainwright. And back in February 15th, 2001, and I quote from Tony La Russa, he said, "Pujols shouldn't make the club, but I didn't think Mark McGwire was going to make the club in 1987. And this was, of course, talk about Albert Pujols. 62 plus years of professional baseball experience. They started their MLB career with the St. Louis Cardinals. They just played their last game in St. Louis this past weekend. 62 plus years. So shout out to Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, and Albert Pujols. Three guys that will most likely be etched. Two of them for sure. Adam Wainwright, the jury may still be out, but Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols are surefire Hall of Fame ballot without question.
Yep.
Hey, that is a lineup, to say the least, to be retiring this year. And
if I'm not mistaken, B-Lab, I think in their last home game, didn't they get pulled at the same time?
Yes.
I think the manager took all of them out so they could walk off sort of together with a round of applause to the fan. Classy move and cool thing to have. Yeah, that's some longevity for sure.
And Pujols still hitting home runs with 703.
Yeah, still raking.
24 on the season. 24.
Let's get
still
it.
Raking.
Eddy Cool. Bing. The ball.
24 on the season. Scottie D, help me out. It's Yadier, Benji, and who else?
I want to say it's Josh Molina. I think I heard maybe. I think I might be able to pull that one up, Lou, because I did have the story.
Was it Dabo?
No, it was not.
No.
Dabo Molina?
All
roads, even behind the plate, lead to Dabo.
Wow.
Hey, Khalil Green, he played for Clemson. Short son of a... Anyways, moving on to my next pepper point. This past weekend, we lost a legend in the world of professional wrestling. As we mentioned here, we're all fans of professional wrestling. In Japan, yes, Japan, the late, great, legendary Antonio Inoki passed away. A little quick rundown about the Japanese legend himself. He was the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then he turned politician later on in his career. He's a two-time IWGP world champion, which is the IWGP is the International Wrestling Grand Prix, which is the governing body of New Japan Pro Wrestling. All right, he's a multi-time Hall of Famer, and what some people consider the first ever MMA match between him and Muhammad Ali took place in 1976. So we lose a legend in the world of professional wrestling, Antonio Inoki. And in case you didn't know, Antonio Inoki, he was a former WWE champion, but for some strange reason, they didn't want to recognize it. So shout out to Triple H for recognizing Antonio Inoki's title reign as the WWE champion. Over to you, Scottie D.
Yeah, I remember seeing an old clip of Inoki and Muhammad Ali. He was like kind of laying on his back, like kicking at it, like did the bicycle kick and a leg kick. Stuff that you see today, stuff that you might see Anderson Silva do. Except that Anderson Silva is not kicking anymore. He's stepping into the boxing ring these days, and he's 3-1 as a professional. And Be Live, you know who is fighting next on October 29th?
One of them Paul brothers.
Jake Paul, baby. Jake Paul.
Okay.
While Logan will be taking on Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship. Jake Paul back in action against Anderson Silva. And I tell you, I think I just might watch it. I want to see the Spider hand his dude his ass finally once and for all. Be Live. Over to you, buddy.
You better not throw it. I know that much. You better not throw that fight.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Why? All right. Well, let's talk about a little bit of basketball. The NBA preseason is underway.
Really?
And yeah.
Huh. What do you know about that?
Well, here's why this Pepper Point is so interesting. The Phoenix Suns, the NBA regular season leading Phoenix Suns, they played a team from Australia, a professional team from Australia, in their home preseason opener by the name of the Adelaide 36ers.
Oh, okay.
They're good. They're good.
The Adelaide 36ers.
They run the box and one defense. I know. I've seen them play. They're really good.
The Adelaide 36ers finished 7th out of 10 teams in the NBL last season, which is the Australian Pro League. And they finished 7th with a 10-18 record. 10-18 record. So they were 7th out of the 10 teams in Australia. The Phoenix Suns were the best team during the regular season in the NBA. Who should win this game?
You think it would be the Suns?
You would think so, but you would be incorrect. Because the Adelaide 36ers won 134-124 this past Sunday. And the 36ers did it in spectacular fashion in a way that Scottie D is so happy about. They shot 24 of 43 from long distance. They shot over 50% from the three-point line. They were led by Craig Randall, who played briefly at the University of Memphis, and then Tennessee Martin, UTM, for a stop in the G League. And Robert Franks, they combined for 67 points. Two players combined for 67 points and 15 three-pointers between them. The Phoenix Suns, do they even have an owner yet? Now,
them Australian boys owned them.
Yeah.
But before you think that this was an exhibition game and that nobody really played, that would be incorrect. Cameron Payne led the Suns with 23 points. Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton added 22 apiece. Devin Booker had 13 points. Chris Paul had 12 assists. They played their starters and lost to the 7th place team in the Australian National Basketball League. 134 to 124. Eddy Cool, 3 for 3. The ball.
Golden State gonna kill them. Golden State gonna kill them. If you lose it to the Adelaide 30, what the hell's a 36er? You got a 76er, an 87ers, a 90, 50. That's neither here nor there, man. All right, so my third and final pepper point is about me. That's right, Eddy Cool, also known as Ed Vereen from WOBL Radio. You listen to this podcast, it's going to be Wednesday, so I'm going to tell you what to do come Friday night, all right? So you can catch me on the Myrna Law Halftime Show presented by Myrna Law on WOBL Radio at halftime of the Clearview Clippers at the Wellington Dukes, all right? I'll be flying solo on the halftime show this week. Yes, I'll be my partner, Nikki Lynn. She's been going out of town, and I'll be flying solo this week. So here's how you can catch it, right? So listen, because everybody be like, oh, we want to hear you. Where can we hear you? What can you listen? Do you need an app? Yes and no, but I'm going to tell you how to get there, all right? So check this out. You can tune in to WOBL if you're up in the Northeast Ohio area, which is 107.7 FM, 1320 AM, all right? If you don't live in the state of Ohio, you can listen online at WOBLradio.com. And you can also download the free Gold Country Cool Cat app at your Google Play Store, the Apple Store, or wherever you can find your apps at. So your boy doing his thing Friday nights on the radio, sounding pretty good. I love what I do. And when they say, when you do what you love, it's not really work. I'm just on the radio having fun, talking about high school football, and I'll be joining my guy Dave Rivera for the post-game show as well, too. So if you get a chance, check me out. Matter of fact, I'll leave a link. So if you can do that for me, I greatly appreciate it. And shout out to everybody that's been supporting me during this journey, from Scottie D, to Be Live, to Reese, to all my folks up in Ohio, all my folks back in South Carolina. I love y'all much. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right. Keep up the good work, man.
Yes, sir.
The last time I talked to you guys was September. It is now October. But 50 years ago, on the final day of September 30th, 1972, marked a significant milestone here in Pittsburgh as Roberto Clemente got his 3,000th hit. He hit a double off the Mets' John Matlack in the new Three Rivers Stadium. That concluded his career as Roberto Clemente. Hit 312 that season. He had won 12 consecutive Gold Gloves, World Series titles, and All-Star appearances. But on December 23rd, just months later, a massive earthquake in Managua, the capital of Nicaragua, took place. And on New Year's Eve, he got into a plane to deliver aid so that no corrupt officials would get hold of this stuff. He wanted the aid, he wanted the resources to go directly to the people in Nicaragua who needed them. And he never came back. The plane went down, and he died a legend. And to this day, Roberto Clemente remains probably the most important, revered, beloved sports figure in the history of Pittsburgh. The right field wall in the new stadium is 21 feet high to honor him, and there's statues and been documentaries and TV shows and all that stuff. But this man's legacy lived on because he died helping people, and he was a magnificent baseball player and an even better humanitarian. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the greatest athlete in the history of Pittsburgh sports, Roberto Clemente, on the 50-year anniversary of his final 3,000th career hit. Be Live, over to you.
Y'all do this to me every week. Eddy Cool comes in with a feel-good story about the radio show and high school sports in the greater northern Ohio region. Scottie D comes in with a feel-good story that just tugs at your heartstrings. And here I come to ruin all of the mood.
The foolishness. Let's get it.
I should have saved the Jake Paul story for last.
You could have helped the brother out.
I should have saved Jake Paul.
God, because I'm about to ruin it for real. Just to let everybody know, this be your boy. And my third and final pepper point. Y'all know how I do things with my third and final pepper point. It's the most ridiculous thing I can find throughout the week of sports.
Let me make sure we're on gallery view, because this might be on the internet.
This one is a doozy, and I don't want to put emphasis on doozy, because whenever you see the medical card come out, whenever it comes to football, it's usually a scary situation, a traumatizing injury, usually either torn ligaments, broken bones, etc., etc. It is devastating to see the medical card come out. Well, it's not always the case. The Seattle Seahawks had a little bit of scare. Their fans might have had a little bit of a scare this past weekend because their star wide receiver, DK Metcalf, was carted off the field. Come to find out, it was not an injury that had him carted off the field, but it's reported that he had a little bit of a tummy ache during halftime, and that tummy ache was coming into fruition near the end of the game. And so instead of walking it out to the locker room, DK Metcalf admitted later on Twitter that he likely would not have made it to the restroom if it had not been for the medical card, because he had to go a number 2 in the worst type of way. To the point where he could not walk it out. He needed the medical card assistance to get him to the bathroom quick, fast, and in a hurry. You know how we try to walk it out and when we got to really make it happen? He said that was not happen.
Wonder if did it happen in the cart? Every once in a while, you slip one past the guard there.
Yeah, you just might.
DK Metcalf, his exact words on Twitter, and I quote, "That clinch walk wouldn't have made it." So it wasn't a solid one. It possibly was a wet one.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And speaking of, Eddie, take us home.
Just imagine, like, you're running your route, and all of a sudden, like, that thing hit the bottom of your stomach, because that's what hit. It hit the bottom of your stomach, and you got to clench your cheeks. And you got to clench your cheeks, and then you got to make a business decision. Like, okay, do I stand here and try to pinch? Because when that damn loggerhead go to poking, boy,
Eddie, say goodnight. Say goodnight. Say goodnight.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah, we know how this stuff works.
So shout out to him, Lamar Jackson, and Paul Pierce for having a boo-boo at the same time. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Thanks for watching, listening. We all love you. And in closing, do something nice for yourself, and if you can, do something nice for someone else. They'll greatly appreciate it now more than ever. Be a blessing, not a burden. This is another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. Once again, shout out to Reese Jenkins, lesser known comics, and prayers for everybody that's been affected by Hurricane Ian. We praying for you, and we love you. I'm done. Beat out. Get us up out of here.
Yes, sir. Bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop.
The cockadookie and the stanky. Oh, boy. We making doo-doo jokes. Bye. See y'all next week. Thanks for listening to the Sports Bros podcast. The DK in Metcalf stands for
Dookie King. Dookie Kong.
They're not gonna listen to us no more. Bye, y'all. Don't ring like this, Phil. Bye. Hey, it's Eddie Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. And do you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life? Wait a minute, don't answer that. The answer is yes. And I know you want some more of the Sports Bros Podcast in your life. Do us a small favor. Go to the description box, click our Linktree link, and you'll see all the links on how to follow the Sports Bros Podcast. Once again, thanks for listening.
And I had to go ahead and record this too at the very end of it all, because this goes out to Tony Bogan. I saw what you said to me.
Oh.
Yes, I said what I said. Did you pick NC State last week, player? Did you pick them this past weekend? I got the message. NC State went down Clemson all day. Let's get it all in. All roads lead to Dabo. Bring your own guts. Yes, sir.